Hello, Year 7. So this is your video lesson for lesson 28 on the 1B scheme. And we're going to look at chapter 12E, which is all to do with isometric drawings. Now, in order to do this lesson, first of all, you will need some isometric paper. And it looks like this. It looks like it's got little triangles on it. Now, I do not expect you to have isometric paper at home. So on ClassChart, I have attached a document that contains isometric paper. So you can print that off. Okay. Now, the other thing is, or the other important thing with isometric paper is, you have to have it the right way up. Now, what that means is, these lines here, they need to be going from top to bottom. They need to be vertical. If your paper is this way around, then you've got it the wrong way. Okay, so it has to be portrait. It can't be landscape. Now, some of you may have worked with isometric paper before, some of you may not have. Now, isometric paper is basically a way of drawing 3D shapes that look realistic. Now, before I get on to do an example one, I just want to show you very briefly how isometric paper works. Now, you may or may not be able to see that if you look really carefully, they actually form, or the lines form, little cubes. Now, some people can see this really well and some people find it difficult. That's absolutely fine. I sometimes find it really difficult as well. Okay, now, just to show you what I mean, so this is not to do with example one, I just want to show you this before we start. I'm going to draw a cube. Now, I'm using pen here just so that it shows up really, really well. When you do it, please use pencil, just in case you do make a mistake. So it's just so you can see it a little bit easier on the video. So hopefully, as I'm doing this, you are starting to be able to see the cube that I have drawn. So that is a 1 by 1 by 1 centimetre. These are all centimetres. Cube. So it's 1 centimetre by 1 centimetre by 1 centimetre. In other words, I have a length, a width, and a height. I have a length of 1, a width of 1, and a height of 1. Alright. So, going back to example 1 here, and as I'm going through this, I'm going to give you a couple of tips and tricks that will help you when you are using isometric paper. So, example 1 says, on isometric paper, draw a cuboid that measures 2 centimetres by 2 centimetres by 3 centimetres. Now, the way that I'm going to do this is going to be very slightly different to the answer, or the answer to the example in the textbook. It's going to look very slightly different. Both answers are still correct, but I'll explain the differences a little bit later on. Now, if I just look at the question, that's going to be my length, that is going to be my width, and that is going to be my height. So 2 centimetres is my length, 2 centimetres is my width, and 3 centimetres is going to be my height. Now, top tip on where to start is to really clearly mark where your starting point of your diagram is going to be. Now, it doesn't really matter where this is, but don't do it too close to the edge, otherwise your shape might not fit. So I'm going to start here. And the best way to do this is to draw this. And again, I'm doing this in pen just so it shows up on the video, but please, when you do it in pencil. So that is going to be the start, or the corner, like this corner here, of my cuboid. Now my length is 2 centimeters, so that means I need to go this way 2 spaces. So that's one that I've drawn, so I need to draw another one. Okay. So that there, my length is 2 centimeters. 1, 2. My width, again, is going to be 2 centimeters. So my width, if you look this way, that's my width, this direction here, is going to be 2. So that's 1. I'm going to add another one in. So my width is again 2 centimeters. Now my height is 3 centimeters. Now this again is one of the little tricks that I'm going to show you. Now I know that my height is 3 centimeters. So from each of these I'm going to go up by 3. So if I start here, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. Here I've gone 1 already, 2, 3. From this point here, 1, 2, 3. Now you may or may not start to see the shape of a cuboid. So now we can see that my height is going to be 3 centimeters. My height there has gone up by 3. My length is 2 centimeters and my width is also 2 centimeters. Now the next thing I need to do is draw the top bit. Now these, this line here and this line here, can join together. This line here and this line here can also join together. But at the minute, it doesn't look like a cuboid. Now the last thing we need to do is we need to make it look like a cuboid, like that. Now you will notice that this length here is the same length as here, that's still the width. So that bit there is the same as the width. And that bit there is the same as the length. So here we've now drawn a cuboid that has a length of 2, a width of 2 and a height of 3. Now in the answer in the textbook it looks very slightly different, but actually all it's done is it's rotated the shape. Okay, that's the only difference. So any that looks or that has 2, 2 and 3 would be absolutely fine. And that's it. Now you can, if you want to be really fancy, we don't have to, include some dotted lines here just to make it really clear where the other sides of the cuboid are, and that may make it slightly easier to see where the cuboid has come from. Now you wouldn't have to label all of these, but I've just done that to make it a little bit easier for you to see. Now the next example looks something like this, and I've just redrawn them. So what we need to do is we need to think about what these solids would look like if, in this first case, that cube was removed, and in the second case, that cube was removed. What would the shape look like? And again, we're asked to draw this on isometric paper. Just getting you to try and practice using isometric paper. Now, the first thing to think about is how many cubes make up each of these shapes. So, to start off with, we can count them. There's 1, 2, 3. Now don't forget this one here. Even though we can't see all of it, it's still there. So there's 4 cubes there to start off with. Now, I know there's one here. Yes, we can see a little bit of it. But if I didn't have a cube there, this top cube, the pink one, it can't float. It has to be on top of something. So there's 4 cubes. Now this is a little bit more difficult to see on this one. Now there's 1, 2, 3, 4 that I can see really easily. But this cube here must be on top of another one, even though I can't see it. Because if that wasn't there, the one underneath wasn't there, that cube would have to be floating, which can't happen. So here there is actually 5 cubes. There's one that we can't see. So now let's get on to actually answering the question. So the question is, remember, draw the shapes without the pink cube. Well, these first 2 here haven't changed at all. Right. So again, my first tip was draw your starting point. Now it doesn't really matter where it is, just don't do it too close to the edge like I said. So I'm going to start here. And I'm going to draw my little W style shape of the corner, or technically the vertex, of the first cube. So this point here actually relates to this point here. So if we notice, I'm now going to go along 2. Well, I've gone along one already, and I'm going to go along another one. From here I'm going to go along another one. Okay, there's my along one. So I've now drawn this bit, that corner, and this part here. Right, well let's finish off these 2. That line there, that line there. This line is going to go there. This part here, and this part here. It's going to go there. This line here is this line there. This bit here is there. This line here is there. And then I'm going to split them up. So that part there is that part there. So I've drawn this one, this one. Now I need to draw this blue one underneath. So that one isn't there, but there must be a cube underneath. So there must be a cube to the right of this one. So there must be a cube to the right of this one. Now this part here I can still see. So that bit there is there. And now I need to join it up to actually make it look like the cube's underneath. Okay, second one. Now it's actually a little bit more difficult to choose my starting point because I could choose this point, but remember that cube there isn't going to be there in my final answer. So I'm going to choose this point here. And I'm going to put that there. So that line that I've just drawn, this bit here, represents this part. The one going up, which is on the side of this cube, is there. Now, the line that I can't see on the original one, this one here, is going to be there. This part here, there. This part here is there. This part here, that line there, is there. This part there is there. This line here is now there. And remember, this needs to be a full cube, so I know I must have a line there. Okay, so that point there corresponds to that point there. Well, this point here must be there. So, draw this bit first. Now again, the one that I can't see, which is there, so the bottom part of that cube must be there. This part is there. This part is there. Oops. This part is there. This bit, let's actually make it look like a cube there, and then this part. And finally, I need to put this cube on top. Now again, there must be a cube that fills this part in. Otherwise, the cube that is on top would just fall straight back down. So, that bit, this bit, this bit. This part is there. And again, make it look like a cube. And that's your final answer. So you should now be able to have a go at exercise 12E, which starts on page 233 of the 1B textbook that is on Caboodle. So I hope you found this useful, and good luck.